Good morning once again to everyone, and those who we didn't get to wish, have a happy Diwali season, I assume, because Diwali just went by. It's fun. Like, I guess 2-3 weeks ago, I was right here with Naveen. We were doing the Dashera and talking about the light. And 3 weeks later, we're still celebrating things and celebrating the light. It seems that this holiday time goes on for a long time, which is wonderful in its own way. It really brings a lot of wonderful qualities in all of us, and a lot of that warmth that comes with celebrating with family, with dear ones, and yes, as much as possible, even though it's been lost, remembering the true light that comes from the masters, that came from Lord Ram, or in whichever way you celebrate Diwali. Uh, it's fun because we did a lot of lighting of diyas here, and I really like the diyas. And I see, obviously, in the past, that's what they lit. They didn't have these LED lights that we have everywhere. And it's so interesting because I guess candlelight, diya light, it really brings your mind more inward, isn't it so? At least it does to me. Whenever you are, that's why I love when we meditate with all darkness. If we could turn off every light and just have a candle, there has to be light, but that light that brings you within. I really like that. But when we go out these days, it's not so much about going inward, it's all about going outward. But you have to say we enjoy that as well. When we go around the neighborhood, say, wow, look at that house, and wow, look at that house. And we get lost in that splendor. But I kind of like to visualize, maybe in the older times, in the past, obviously places will look very different, but let's imagine like power is gone everywhere. And just the diyas are everywhere, lighting the streets, lighting everything for Diwali. And kind of gives you maybe a glimpse of what it may have been back in the day, if they even lit all these diyas, because we really don't know what actually happened a few thousands of years ago. But anyway, it gives you a totally different mood for the celebration. And I don't know, in my heart, of course, I really do like that, even though I also enjoy whatever it is that we do now. But it seems that more and more, as we go in this Rajasic age, we are focusing more in the out, 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 bigger lights, more decorations, more whatever. And we forget to go inside. Of course, those of us who are here, we do take this time to also try to go more inside and try to tune in to those higher realities. And this reality of light is really something fascinating for me, something also very hard for me to perhaps express, because it's something very subtle. Now, I don't claim that I have experienced that light as we would like to experience, but nevertheless, it's something that all of us should aspire to. In the Bible, it says something very interesting. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. Like the darkness doesn't understand the light. And this poem that Naveen read is so fun. How Master said, shines equally in basically evil people, in tiny moths, and in me. I just love that language for some reason. But he says also how basically all of us are opaque to some degree or the other, that we have made ourselves dark. The light is always there, but we don't let it in as much as we should. Now, I don't think anybody here is like dark, opaque, purely black or anything like that. Probably no one is really purely black, because everyone has at least some glimmer of light, because that light is within all of us. And even in the darkest person, you will see there is still some good qualities that shine in them. Maybe it's loyalty, even if it's just loyalty to the robbers that are with him, or loyalty to something or the other. But there's always a little light in everyone, I feel. But that is what we do on the spiritual path more and more. Just remove all those things that prevent us from perceiving the light, from shining the light that is already within all of us. Now, it's very interesting because when you are in the presence of someone who has a lot of light, like when we went to visit Jyotish and Devi, I think everybody here almost was there when a couple of people were not able to be there when we were meeting Jyotish and Devi, or even Devarshiji or some others, that the light is so strong in them, especially if you are alone with them or you go for a blessing or something. Suddenly there's two things that happen that I have noticed myself. One is that you're like, this is wonderful. Being in their presence is so wonderful. You feel like there's a free flow of giving and receiving, or that it's much more easy that to happen, the giving and receiving of the light, which is great because, not always we're able to give as much as we would like, nor receive. A second thing that happens is that your darkness seems to come to the front, that you remember, I'm in the presence of this great person, but I have been doing this or that. I hope they don't realize that. They don't see that, or they don't see that in my aura. Maybe when they're blessing me, they'll feel something strange. All the things come. And the darkness comes, and, darkness cannot comprehend the light. It happens that sometimes with people, they are doing some mistake. They are doing something that everybody can see is not right for them. But because they are so enmeshed with that, even if you tell them about it, they will not be able to comprehend, they will not be able to understand, because they have obscured themselves so much. It happens to all of us to switch something or the other. But when we are in the presence of those people, or of one another, we have to understand that the only way to get rid of this thing is to let the light shine to them. To not be afraid. Yes, don't start sharing it, don't start becoming, weird in front of these people of anyone. But you should always, in your heart, tell Master, yes, I have this defect. Yes, maybe I've been indulging in this or that. Shine your light. Help me cauterize, help me cleanse myself with your light. You will see that performing wrong action in the presence of the masters is cleansing. Now, it's something that we don't want to do usually, because no, if I smoke, I don't want Master to be there. If I drink, I don't want Master to be there. This is something. But when you do it with them, actually it helps. It actually helps you get rid of it. Here's a story of Master, that there was a boy in Ranchi, his Ranchi school, who used to smoke. And Master told him, you can smoke as much as you want, but whenever you want to smoke, you smoke in front of me, next to me. And the boy just could not do that, of course, because he didn't want to smoke in the presence of the Master. So every time he will go close to Master, no, I'm not going to smoke. And it is the same with us. If there is something that we feel is wrong, some darkness within all of us, do it with the Master. Because at the beginning, may feel weird, but then you will stop doing it altogether, because you're allowing that vibration, that light, to cleanse you. There was a fun story that happened to me once. We all go through our bad days, and this was many years ago, but it was Sunday. I woke up late. I didn't have to give the sats, unfortunately, but I was feeling kind of grumpy, as it happens sometimes. But I went to satsang anyway, because it's a good thing to do. But I didn't get to meditate much or anything. And I'm there sitting, the thing is full. It was a special occasion. And I'm there kind of a little judgy in my mind and all that. And then the person who was giving the satsang finishes, and they says, I would like to invite Bharat and someone else to please help with the blessing. And I go, oh my God, I'm supposed to help give blessing to people right now. You have no idea how much I prayed that moment to, for Master. It was around Christmas, for Christ, please let this all go, help me be a channel for you. And it did work. I'm not saying I was praying, don't let me give darkness to people at least, But actually, I felt very cleansed at the end. It's not something I recommend anyone, but I felt very cleansed just to, I was forced to let everything go. Say, Master, Christ, come, get rid of all of this so that your light may shine more strongly. And I think that's something we all should aspire to do at every moment. And especially when we see that we are turning towards the darkness, do some things that will help you turn more towards the light. And that is the way of victory in the past. So I invite Shamini.
And I'll add a little bit as well, and then we'll do our Festival of Light. So, I was thinking as he was sharing about just the candle on the altar. It's very funny because I have kind of the exact opposite. I'm like, let's put lots of lights on the altar, and the altar should be the brightest thing. And here we don't actually, it doesn't cover, no? The light is a lot from outside because of big windows. And so when I come in sometimes, for meditation, if I come after him, I'll come and the first thing I'll do, put on all these lights. It'll come, very strongly and just like, this should be brighter than that out there. And, that's my theory. But the other day, it was very nice because in the night, we finished our meditation. It had become dark, everything. And then he put off these lights. I was still sitting. And just the candlelight was there, and it was just so, it's so true. It takes you just inside. So both are needed, outside also celebrate it and then figure out a way to let that come alive inside us. I realized the contrast is so interesting in us, and sometimes we need this, sometimes we need that, and just do anything but bring the light, in whichever way. So this is something we realized recently in our travels. We were in Pune. And there was a big gathering, as many of you know. There were 150, 160 devotees gathered, So just the magnetism of so many devotees coming is very strong, And that too, we're attuning to the same particular ray. And that's what makes it just so powerful. And we were just realizing, speaking of grumpy, it wasn't exactly grumpy, but I was a little tired from the travel. So I had traveled before the event and I had reached, and, I was ironing my clothes before the event. At 4 o'clock was supposed to be chai, and I was but I was feeling a little tired. My energy was a bit low. So I was even thinking, should I go for chai or just go for the meditation? How should I? And how we hermit types at Ananda. It's funny because Ananda is so much of Sangha, but many of us are hermits. We would rather just be quietly at our temple, alone with the masters, at home. Not everybody wants to come and do this, have fun and talk and eat prasad, and a lot of social activity. So I think I was in one of those more hermit modes going on. And it was so interesting. The moment I walked in to that, the center there has this big gate like our center, but much bigger, I stepped foot inside, saw some devotee. It was like my energy just saying, hi, how are you? And just hi, hello, om, and sat down at the altar. And it was just like all of that, darkness. That's what it is, It's the ego that says, oh, I want to just, be low energy. You go there, I didn't even do anything. I just literally put my foot inside, and I realized that's a lot of the light also. Is just show up into the light, and it takes care. There's that beautiful story, of where God's light is. How can any darkness dwell? That's what God says to the devotee. Where my light is, there can be no darkness. And just very interesting, I just thought this is a very little point, but something that maybe as devotees and on this path we can all tune into at this time where there's so much focus on light, right? And so much emphasis is given. Everywhere it's a reminder of the light that also exists in this world. There's darkness, but this time there is a very strong light. And it's very interesting because as for us, one point which is very key, which we realized recently, was the most important thing on our path, really. That's actually the whole path for us, is just attuning to this ray of light, this particular ray that's coming. And so we say, like even recently we were talking with some devotees, they said, it's been so interesting, just in the few months in Ananda, few years in Ananda, such a change has come in me. Just even in my outer life has changed. There's more light, there's more color, there's more music, there's more everything. Why? Because that's our particular ray that has come through Master and through Swamiji. And it's like by attuning even a little bit to that, we realize, oh, my energy completely changed. I just put a foot inside Ananda and my energy completely changed from all the travels. No? Many times it is you just take up one chant, and let's say you're going through something at home, washing the dishes, we know, just saying door of my heart or something of Master's completely changes. No? Where my light is, no darkness can dwell. And we need to actually, that's the only thing we're doing actually on the path, is finding a way. We're going through anything, any sickness, any mood. How do I come back in tune with your ray, Master? No? What should I do? What should I pick up? What should I take? Let me just do something. Let me just go to the Sangha. And many times we've seen that also. I've shared this before, but it's really beautiful for us to see here. People will come, they have many things going on in the day, but they'll come for just, I had a little lunch break or I had a little time before my evening shift. They just sit down here quietly in front of the altar, just offer it. They leave completely different. They don't have to say anything. No? You can see Master has just, chalo, let's go now. No? I've made you ready to face whatever is there. You're not doing this alone anymore. And that's his promise to us of the light. And so that's just a very interesting thing for us to see. So often we have two completely different perspectives. That's a great joy of marriage sometimes. Maybe you've seen it. There's a great joy of sisterhood perhaps. That's a great joy of anything. Completely different perspectives in the same house. But we really realized recently, whether it is that way, whether it's this way, attuning to this ray is the only thing. You know, and Ananda also, the other part, we realize we have such, actually we are very blessed because we have some very good speakers, you know, very talented singers, very good musicians. So very talented actually. Swamiji has attracted people like him, I think. You know, and he attracted a lot of very capable people. But none of that matters. Because even that, you may give the greatest talk, but if it's not attuned to this ray, it's not going to do anything for us to change us. But even anything we hear, anything we sing, any affirmation we do, if it's attuned to this ray, it's that ray that changes us, no? That light that changes us. And that's what's the most interesting thing for us as devotees, to play with a little bit. Anytime we're feeling a little dull, a little off, just play with it, just try this much of stepping into that light, and all of a sudden something is completely lifted, you know? And it's a miracle that happens daily in all of our lives. Otherwise, we can't do it ourselves. So I'll end on this, and then also we'll talk a little bit about the Festival of Light. But there's this really beautiful story. You know, when I was doing yoga teacher training, this was one, Ananda has a yoga, Ananda Yoga basically, a specific system of yoga which we do. So this particular teacher who was teaching us at that time, she was sharing that there was a lady, I think she was from a very turbulent country, so I don't remember but where exactly, no, but one which had a lot of violence outside and very difficult outer circumstances. So she had come for a yoga class to America to attend it. And she had gone through the program and everything, and really that system of yoga really touched her heart. You know, it has a lot of affirmations and it's very powerful. And so she went back home, and there was some very turbulent thing on the street going on, you know, like violence basically going on. And in that moment she was walking, and it was very difficult, right? So she was there, and all of a sudden she was kind of thinking, you know, going through, oh God, I have to go through this another day, such turbulence. And she was starting to sink a bit. She took one step and she felt her spine straighten. And there's this beautiful affirmation for Garudasana, where you're all twisted. And the affirmation is basically, at the center of life's storms, I stand serene. And so that affirmation just came, at the center of life's storms, I stand serene. Her spine straightened, and she became completely in a different bubble. No? Outside, there was literally storms. At the center of life's storms, I stand serene. Master's ray entered her through that affirmation. No? It's like, by attunement to this ray, we can go through the most turbulent thing outside. This is a very dramatic example. We all have this in much less dramatic, thank God. No? We live in very different situation. But we have our own storms, we have our own struggles. At the center of life's storms, I attune to your ray. I call your grace, Master, and suddenly, that's it. That changes us again and again and again, no? And that's the light for all of us as Kriya Yogis, as devotees, just to remember again and again, it's your grace that changes me. That's all. And I keep coming, I keep showing up, I keep offering every little thing, no, to you. And in that process, we watch the miracle, and all of us keep transforming. So, Om Guru.